There, I'm recording again. Okay. Welcome. We have kind of a full agenda, so I'm just gonna jump right in. We had Legislative Day last Wednesday, and while I was not looking forward to it, it was actually a lot of fun. Tammy and April and I went, and April put together swag bags for all of the legislators in Southeast Kansas that we then delivered. We had appointments with 2 legislators, including Karen Tyson, who I'll tell that story in a minute, and with Fred Gardner. But because we were going to every single office, we ended up meeting and talking to 8 different legislators. And it was great. So what I want to say is thank you for those impact statements. Because you guys had given me those stories, I had them in my back pocket and we could share those stories. We had some really great statistics. Ray had just pulled out a statistic that morning that he shared with us that I'm going to get the dates wrong, but in 1986, state aid to libraries was 3% of the state library's budget. And this year it's 0.43%. That we told that statistic to that first person we went to see, Connor. I don't remember his name. I made her write.
Don Goddard, I think, was the first one we wound up seeing.
Yeah, he just shook his head and his eyes kind of got big, so we knew that made a little bit of an impact. So what I want to do, I was afraid, I overcame my fears, and it turned out really well. So you can too. I know a lot of you guys sent me your impact statement, so we have combined those, and there's going to be a special insert in the next newsletter that y'all can pull out after we add some pictures to it and put it with your annual report. And if you don't write an annual report, let me encourage you to do so. You can use the infographic that you're going to get after you complete the state statistical report, and talk to us if you need help finding and downloading that. You can, if you're a Seek and Find library, you have access to Library Aware, and there are many templates for a very simple annual report on that. The template I use for Iola Public is 20 years old, but it still works, and it's just the front and the back of a piece of paper, and it's done in Word. And if you have Canva, you guys will be receiving the SEK annual report, hopefully next week. And I did it in Canva. But we can help you find a real simple annual report if you've never done one. The things to add to an annual report: who's on your board, what was your income, and what were your expenses. It's a financial report. You might get some if you guys donate to organizations. They might send you their annual report. And then highlights of what you did. So it's a what do you call it? Like a brag board. It's a way for you to communicate with your city administrators, your city council, your donors, anybody that's given to you throughout the year. Send one to the school superintendent, to the school principals. It's just a way for you to share everything that you're doing and the return on investment, the value of the library in the community. And again, we can help with that. And having this insert that April just showed me this morning, which looks really good, can help with that. And I think I already told a couple people when they sent me their impact statements, I always said, copy this, paste it onto letterhead, and send it directly to your legislator. And hopefully Christine did that for Madison. I would say the same to you, because you guys already wrote the words. You already put together the narrative for me, and I appreciate that. So now you can just, get multiple uses out of it. Send it to others. Okay, where's my agenda? Oh, we had a government affairs committee meeting yesterday, and I wanted to quickly tell you about some of the bills that we are watching. Sorry, I'm rearranging my computer real quick so I can look at 2 things at once. House Bill 2176, that is special legislation to create new districts, new library districts in Ark City and Udall and Crowley County. That is already in hearings, and I gave testimony against that, because every time you have a new taxing district that's not following the law that's already there, like how to create a district library, it decreases funding. So if every library decides that, if every city decides that they don't want to have a city library and they want the library to create its own special taxing district, that would mean that there's nothing left untaxed, which is where SEK and all the other regional systems get their financial base from. So it puts systems at risk. The next two are House Bill 2573, which is about making libraries have their own revenue neutral rate hearings and mailings, which we think county clerks would probably frown at. Again, there's 300 of us, and we can't afford it, and it's stupid. So I didn't say that. That one has not had hearings yet, but the lobbyist said we need to be prepared with potential testimony just in case. And then we heard from the state senator who prepared Senate Bill, I can't read it now, 358, which is a ban on book bans. So that one is positive, but being Kansans, I guess, I don't know, we're going like, what if that gets hijacked? What if the other side finds a way to manipulate that and turns it into something that's against libraries? It was really good to hear what Senator Cindy Holcher, was that her last name? We'll get it for you. Anyway, she spoke to us at the State House on Wednesday and was able to share that there's a lot of legislators that are very strong library advocates and that have close ties to their local libraries, including Senator Tyson. She was able to rattle off a couple of family members who are on their local boards. So that was an interesting discussion, and found out that she's friends with April's aunt. April knows everybody in the system, if you guys hadn't figured that out yet, through her family. So anyway, so today is supposed to be the vote on a tax bill, an override vote. The governor already vetoed it. Oh, my internet's unstable. Okay, am I back? Did I slow down? Okay, sorry. Jason, will you shoot Jake an email to let him know that we had internet instability? Thank you. What was I talking about?
Senator Tyson. April knowing everything.
The override vote.
Thank you. As the budget.
Yes.
The House has enough votes to override the veto for the budget, but they don't think the Senate does. So they'll probably start back on ground zero on a state budget. And it was Fred Gardner, who's one of in our area, who proposed the current budget bill that has a flat tax. So it's, yeah. So anyway, so we're watching that today too. And Catherine Williams at South Central is the chair of the Government Affairs Committee, and she's keeping us in the loop, and we're meeting every 2 weeks during the legislative season just to make sure that we can stay on top of things. And okay, Tammy and April, what were your impressions or thoughts after legislative day?
I thought it went well. Remember, they're just people. Yeah. And I think just, it can be a little intimidating being up there, but it was very interesting. There was a bunch of groups up there. So there was protesting stuff going on a little bit, and it was just kind of cool to echoing through the whole entire Capitol. And so it was just kind of cool to watch that, to see all those groups that were up there. So
Yeah, I think we took an opportunity to educate some legislators about some issues that were near and dear to our hearts. The budget and what's going on with some of our libraries. And so I thought it was a valuable time that we spent getting to know some of the folks who make the law.
Yeah, the group that was there were LGBTQ teens. So they were raucous and loud and proud, and seeing government in action. And I got teary-eyed as we were looked down and watching them cheering. So it was really neat. There were multiple groups there doing stuff on multiple layers of the building. It was very energetic, or energizing, I guess. So I think we're going to do it again next year. I mean, it was great to be back in person, and there's that handshake means so much. I mean, especially more than an email, but to be able to look somebody in the eye and shake their hand, and tell them, please support the $3,000, the new stipend for libraries, that would be a game changer. Jenny? There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, whenever we used to have Christmas open houses at the library, Karen would always come.
Where's that feedback coming from? Okay, so yeah, Karen Tyson is in your county, so you would invite her to a legislative breakfast? Awesome. Is she related to your family too? She was our final visit for the day, so, but it went well, I think. I don't know what's up with the feedback, Jenny, sorry. Okay. We have your Swank movie licenses for 2024. So I will be sending those out with copies of the new SEKLS annual report. I don't have an administrative assistant at the moment, so it might take a little bit of time to get those printed, folded, put together in packets, and put on the courier. But it's done. The annual report's done, so I'd like to get those out by mid-February, if at all possible. So be on the lookout for those. I'm sure I'll have more as we go, but that's all I can think of right now. I'll talk again at the round robin. I've got some stuff for Iola. Is Cynthia here? I don't see her. Oh, there she is. Cindy, you want to go next? Okay, we'll skip her. Tammy?
Sure, I can go. So tomorrow is summer library program for adult programming. So it's going to be an idea share and a presentation with Greta Funk, who's at Nortonville. It's tomorrow at 10 a.m. And if you haven't registered, you can register. You can find a link from the SEKLS page, or I'm going to drop the direct link into the chat. It should be a really interesting time, and she has some really great ideas. She presented for CSLP, and so I saw she was from Kansas and went, hey, let's snag her. So if you have time and you are the person responsible for adult programming in the summer, might be worth your time. And we are going to record it, so look for that link as well. Summer library program for new library staff training. Yesterday was a Monday, so sorry about that. I wrote this whole email up and was hurrying because I was extremely busy yesterday. So I apologize that we didn't have the right time. It's going to be February 13th via Zoom at 10 a.m. So please make sure if you are new and have never run a summer library program before that you plan to participate. It's going to have some really valuable information about data that you need to collect so that you can report back to me at the end of summer, and ideas for how to structure your program, programming ideas. So lots of good stuff. So make sure that you're registered for that. The youth services community of practice is just an opportunity for youth services staff to come together and share ideas and support each other. It's a really informal time of discussion. There's not formal training that goes on there. Kind of share out what's going on from my vantage point, and other folks are sharing out what's going on in their world as well. So please plan to be there if you can. There's more information about that at sekls.org/calendar. So you're not required to register for that one. You can just show up. Creating safe spaces for teens. This is one of the programs, I guess everything that I'm talking about as far as training really help you get ready for that transition for next year, and preparing for making sure that you are providing services to youth so that you can qualify for, help me, Sharon, with my words, they're missing this morning, for, I'm sorry, April, say it again.
Allocation.
Allocation, that's the word I was missing. For percentage above allocation. So that again will be in 2025. So this year, what you're doing this year will count toward whether or not you receive that additional allocation in 2025. So if this is not something that your library is doing currently, if you're not really hitting youth services, this is an opportunity for you to bring some new ideas to your community. So creating safe spaces for teens is one of those trainings that could really be impactful in your community. And I'm very excited to bring in our speaker for that. So that one again is a Zoom. So get registered for that if that is a need in your area. The person that's presenting you'll be extremely impressed by. I know I have been. April and I have had some discussion with them, and yeah, they know what's going on and have some great information to share. Then March 7th is the in-person live summer library program workshop, and registration will begin on March 7th at 8:30 a.m. I am waiting for some information to put out the flyer, but at the top of the morning, right after registration, I want to have some folks there to help us with the food programs. So if you're a community, you know that the school district, the church, no one in the community is taking on a summer food program, and you're interested in looking at options, this will be the time for you to get some information. So that, as soon as I get information on that, you'll get the flyer out, and registration will open up. So that will be something that we haven't done before, but is a growing need in some of our communities. I did some research yesterday. It's not quite complete yet, but about 2/3 of our libraries have summer food programs that are supported through the school district. So that leaves 1/3 of them that is not how a summer library food program is supported. So I know in a few places it looks a little bit different and is supported through, like Sammy was telling us yesterday, theirs is supported through the hospital. Right? The hospital? I know it was a health organization. I think it was hospital. Yeah. And so that's Kansas Food Bank. So there are options out there. And I know that for some of you, getting hooked up with a sponsor could be the difference between some kids in your communities having nutritious meals during the summer and not.
Yeah.
And or you trying to make up the difference. So that in itself might be a great opportunity for you. So I hope that you'll sign up. The rest of the day is going to be Will Stuck, who we've seen before, but it's been a number of years. He was here before the pandemic years, and he has a lot of energy. He's really, really knowledgeable, and he's a lot of fun. So I know that you will enjoy the day with Will. I have recently talked to him. He had rotator cuff surgery, so he told me he's got a little cabin fever. So to expect him to have extra energy when he's in Iowa. So I think that's it for youth services, unless someone has some questions. Hopefully everyone's getting your materials via the courier. If you have not, you need to email me and let me know. I was waiting on yard signs, and so hopefully they'll be in soon, and we'll get those out to you as well. Can't believe we're already talking about summer reading, but it's that time.
It is. Well, and we shared a lot of those food programs that you guys do with your legislators. So people that have food pantries, I know at Girard, it's the library is the one giving out the boxes of the summer food. They're the distribution point. So I'm excited to hear that that's going to be a part of the summer reading workshop. We think that it's very impactful. And I think a lot of our legislators just, they still have some old fashioned notions about what a library is. And, you know, we were able to tell them a library is what the community needs it to be. And you guys are all very responsive, and we appreciate that. Okay, thank you, Tammy. Cynthia, are you ready?
Yes, I apologize for not being able to find on my iPhone where I needed to turn on the speaker. So anyway,
Oh, okay.
there I have 4 new books on the way. 2 are ADHD and they involve some humor. They're written by individuals who do have ADHD, to adults, or a married couple that's he does not have it, the wife does, and then another gal who does, and then 2 on autism. I'm working on making autism kits for Iola Public. Sensory, visual, communication. I'm just at the beginning of my exploring, and somehow I ended up in contact with a library in Nova Scotia, and she and I've been emailing, and she has been very helpful in telling me what works and how to keep them clean. So it might be something that we could share with other libraries if you do have individuals who are on the autism spectrum. I'm continuing to do weeding. As a part-time employee, I am not going as fast as I would like, but I'm getting there. I still need to visit with a handful of new directors. And lastly, don't forget I can do board training. If you've already had me come out for special needs and talking books, I could probably bring out, if it's okay with Sharon, marketing outreach presentation that I did for KLA, and make it as long or short as you need.
Thank you.
That's about you're welcome.
As a fellow part-timer, I understand your frustration. So I tell my board, it's like, it'll get done. It's just not going to get done as fast as if I was full-time. That's the one variable I can control is time. So, alrighty. Thank you, Cynthia. Tammy went. Jason, are you ready?
Sure, I don't have too much. I'm still missing, I think, 18 participation agreements. So if you haven't turned in your participation agreement for this year, please do so. If you're not sure, just ask me. I've got a spreadsheet of who has and who hasn't, and I'll also try and send out reminders next week, probably. The Brownstone project, I believe, is pretty much done. So if you received that gift, and requested them to provide the cataloging records, we've imported those. So you should have your books, or they should be on the way if you don't have them yet. If you have questions about how any of that works, let me know. But basically, they sent you the stuff, you process it, check it in, and it should be in the catalog. Yep.
I'm guessing that there are some requirements for how you give credit. If you're I know I've seen a lot of social media posts of folks, you know, displaying the books. Was there and I should know, but I don't, so forgive me. What were there some marketing requirements? Like you need to say this was a gift of the Brownstone Family Foundation or whatever that foundation was?
I didn't get those requirements, but if somebody that got them has those and I need to make adjustments to the cataloging records, please let me know, because we can do that in a badge.
Okay, I'm thinking that might be a good idea. And it's always a good idea to publicly thank the donor. That's part of the reason why they donate, to be quite honest. Ray might have added some wording in the emails that he sent, April, and I'll double check. But and that kind of reminds me, I would like you to do the same thing with things that you're getting from SEKLS. You know, if you've bought something with a grant from SEKLS, please note that in your social media, just like you would a grant from another nonprofit organization. That helps get our word, you know, it helps legislators and voters and constituents all over the region know who we are and what we do to help libraries. And I appreciate it, and everybody that gives donations appreciates that. You know, I had a local donor here at Iola, and he came in and he sent his sister in like 4 times to see if his name was on our donor plaque. And it took a long time to get that name on the donor plaque, and I heard about it, and he was not happy. So luckily I was able to charm him out of his bad mood, and we got his name on the donor plaque, and I was able to show it to him, and now we're getting more donations from him. So it's important to be very public in your thanks when you get these kinds of gifts. So continue with those social media posts. And I don't know that there's a website or anything that this woman, I think it's just a woman out of New York that wanted to do this out of the goodness of her heart. So thank you. What else you got, Jason?
I just wanted to say that if you need help pulling data out of Koha or like digesting the data for those annual reports and things, let me know. I'm happy to help with that. And then the last thing is we are underway with Frontneck, so they're slowly adding their items to the catalog. So we're excited about that, and we're moving along.
And Seth shared with us that Frontneck Public Library now has a website. Seth, what was frontneckpl.org? Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, cool. So for those of you that are in the area and curious about what's going on at Frontneck, it's in the notes. Okay, thank you. Darren?
Okay. I left my power cord at Yates Center yesterday, so I've been trying to find alternate sources.
Well, Yates Center's not that far away.
Okay. What's that? No, it's not
I
that
think
far.
Yates Center's not
March
that far away.
6th is the March 6th is the 3D printer. I guess we're calling it a summit. It's going to be in Mound City, 10 to 12. Okay, Brittany, I am saying the right date now, right?
Correct.
Okay. For some reason, I kept wanting to say a different one. I won't say it now, but okay. So it's a 3D meeting. I've had one response of someone definitely coming. I'll be sending out the registration links or uh, the registration form and be promoting that a little bit more. One thing I want to verify or clarify is even though the Mound City 3D printer is around the $1,500 range, there are different ranges with that brand and a couple other brands. And 3D printing selection will be part of the discussion in the first hour. And so I'll be looking at range at $250 to $500 range 3D printers, 500 to 750, 750 to the 1500. So there's going to be different ones. The reason why I'm interested or the Bamboo Lab is it's one that if you are looking at using the tech grant, it would be one that would probably it'd be one to consider since it's got multiple colors, although I think we're still having some concerns with that aspect, but
I got it
if
to work yesterday.
you got it to work yesterday, that's good. And then Bamboo Lab actually now has a few lower end models, but also with the multiple color opportunities. So and then later on, if you after the 3D summit, if you want, speaking about board meetings, if you would like me to come over to talk to a board meeting about how libraries are using 3D printers or anything, if you're going to have to get approval through your board, I can go ahead and try to discuss some issues that they might have. Category 2, E-rate. I'm working with Ben. There's some of you that've got some older routers that we're getting you caught up with the $75 solutions, but we're trying to go ahead and utilize Cat 2 to try to get some routers that are going to be a little bit better for keeping statistics. I think a lot of you are using ones that you have to guess on what the statistics are. Jake has been helping me on the research aspect of that, and we think we found Ubiquity as being one that we might want to get instead of. I know some of you have the Meraki's. The Meraki's are a little bit more expensive, but they provide the statistics that you want. But for those that are other libraries that are more on the leak sense right now, we'll probably go ahead and try Ubiquity and try to get some more hotspots for you. So that's February 15th is when Ben's wanting to get as much information as possible. So I'm trying to work out where we can maybe get a standard package for some of the libraries, and I'll talk to the directors to make sure, because there is a commitment on your part for 20%, but 80% of it is paid by the E-rate funds. There's a couple of you have asked for some computers. I'm behind on that, so I'm going to go ahead and get caught up on that this week. I haven't got really good answers yet right now, but I just want to let you guys know if you're wondering about Canva Pro version, I'm trying to get contact with a person, whether other than whatever I've been able to get contact on the bots. I haven't figured out what the secret on the Pro version is. I don't know. I think Sharon just snuck in there somehow. So, but there's some, I'm still looking at that one. So I'll try my best to get a solution. A third party does the validation of whether or not you're a nonprofit. And they've got different versions of that.
Okay.
Okay. We talked about that. All of us, Jake, David and I, we're going out to do your quarterly tech report or tech visits. We're starting on a new rotation here for February. I'm only doing 2 to 3 libraries each month, whereas they're doing 7 to 8 libraries a month. But when I do come, I'm like I was at Yates Center yesterday. I will also spend a little bit more time with the directors and staff on trying to figure out not only getting your computers update, but also what are you wanting for the future on your computer aspect. Um, Janice and I had a couple good conversations yesterday, and so I know Jake and David, when they come, they can actually, a lot of times they'll come when you're not there and they'll get a key and go in. I actually think it's important for me to be there during the time that you get with the directors are there, because I'm actually looking at it from a little bit different perspective than what the two of them are looking at. It gives you a chance to have correspondence with Southeast Kansas Link, and as far as a consultant. And then if you have specific questions for Sharon or any other consultants, I can bring that to them. The tech grant, we talked about that briefly on the 3D printing, but if there's other stuff that you're wanting to look at for tech grant, I know that a few people have talked about all computers, and I know each library is different when it comes to their all computers. Janice, she said if any library's got some old all computers that they don't want, she'd be more than willing to use those, because she says her all computer is always busy. Other of you, when I've gone to you, you say that nobody uses your all computer. And I know that there's a discussion whether or not some of the alternatives of other software out there, if that's better than getting an all computer, because you're paying for the software. I know Tammy and I've had a couple discussions on this, and we'll probably keep on having some discussions because it's a big investment. But the tech grant is the one that allows you to purchase that if you're wanting to go ahead and get a newer one. Again, each of your patrons and your patrons are using the all computer a little bit different. So we'll just go ahead and I am trying to still get a representative to come to the Innovation Day to help out on asking some questions. In the past, there's been a or impression that libraries aren't supposed to be doing any updates on the all computers. We are allowed to do updates. We just have to coordinate with them for passwords and stuff. But I've done some updates on those at my previous place, and it does improve, like all computers. If you don't keep up with the updates, they're going to get slow. And then the one last thing that I want to talk about is sort of related to the whole how does your patrons use technology. I'm creating a computer or technology survey, and questions such as, do you use your all computer, uh, are you using 3D, or is your printers for your Wi-Fi printing, is it sufficient, stuff like that. um, I want to, and also talking about your rotation plans for equipment. I like to try to figure out how everybody's doing that. So I believe that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Just as a reminder, Innovation Day, formerly annual meeting, is the first Friday in June, correct, April?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so. And it'll be kind of like last year. Well, it'll be a little bit different than last year. It's going to start a little later and end a little earlier. But we'll focus on technology and innovation and the cool, fun stuff, in my opinion. But okay.
Can I add one thing on that?
Yeah.
Hey, if some of you are doing like crickets, or if you got anything that is being covered in the Innovation Day, and if you are interested in train or doing a session, because we are going to try to do some hands-on type of stuff. We'll still have places or we'll have a time period where you can go look at some new equipment, but we do want to go ahead and have something where if you're interested in cricket, then we'll try to have somebody there to teach you the basics of cricket or the 3D printing and stuff like that. So if you are very comfortable with using some of the technology and you want to promote your library's use of it and also make sure that other people know how you're utilizing it, then please volunteer to help me out on that.
Here, here. All right. Thank you. Miss Brenda.
Hello. Hello. Gosh. I haven't used my voice this morning. Excuse me. We had our first Zoom meeting for the group that's working on the new fund of last resource. Or we officially are going to call it the Black Hole something, Jason, Black Hole Replacement Fund. We talked about this a little bit at users group. We'll have some more information at the next users group. Basically, it's just money we won't reimburse you and give you money. We're going to replace the item. If you return it for a patron, return something that wasn't checked out at your library, what I'm calling a courtesy return, and it goes missing on the courier, we'll help you out with getting those materials back in your collection. Along with that, I don't know how many libraries in my area have the Parsons route. There's some things happening with the courier as far as routes are getting changed and pickup times and drop-offs are, I don't know. I haven't fully gotten the information and investigated all of it. It appears that possibly our things are getting picked up and then carried back to Wichita and they sit in a truck overnight. So if you're seeing a slowdown in things arriving, or if you're having problems, please let Caroline know, but let me know so I can get a better picture of what's going on, because we're supposed to get next day service, which doesn't happen too often, but if things are not getting back to the hub so they can be distributed, and if I'm also concerned that they're not waiting for the trucks to come in because they're wanting to get to libraries earlier. So I think they're making changes because they can't find the drivers, and this current driver is coming from Wichita, from Henry. Anyway, if you've noticed differences, let me know and be sure to reach out to Carolyn.
Connie writes in the chat, she's seeing a much higher rate of things disappearing in the last few months.
Do you mean just go missing in transit, Connie? That type of disappearing?
Yes. Right now we've got 12 things since the end of November that coming or going that are in outer space someplace. I mean, that's extraordinarily high for us.
I know we've had more things that are showing up with the shared stuff in the not received. With the weather, I was giving them a little grace with the weather because we had way worse weather in other parts of the state. And I know that slowed things up. But what I'm afraid of now is the stuff is not, either it's getting taken to a different distribution center or it's waiting, sitting somewhere. And we've had, I don't know how many different drivers since the first of the year. And there's always a concern that it doesn't get transferred over.
We've had,
this is typically when stuff starts showing up through the post office.
Yeah.
Because they just go dump it someplace.
Yeah. We've had 4 different drivers since the first of the year.
Yep,
So
kind of in that boat. So
yeah.
Anyway, I want you to let Caroline know because she's the one, because she is the one that's supposed to be on top of things. However, she had no idea what was going on. They had not informed her of these routes. What came up was they were wanting a key to a library so they could come in or before they were open. And this particular library opens at 9:30. And I question how they're going to get there earlier when they are supposed to be coming from Parsons. And yet they're coming to my library later because they've changed the route around. Anyway, just something to watch and keep me up to date on.
Thank you. Do our folks need the same reminder that you had to give Caroline about make sure that you've updated all of your labels and don't accidentally pull an old label that has the wrong distribution point?
You know, I've preached and preached and preached and preached that, but yes, always check out your labels from time to time. Ours in particular, if you find a label for Southeast Kansas Library System that says EMP up in the corner instead of PAR, throw that away. We haven't been on the Emporia Hub for, I don't know, more than 2 years. And this little story was we were waiting on a tub of bags, empty bags to come from Northeast. And they didn't come, and they didn't come, and they didn't come. And I thought, I bet when they show up, they're going to have had the other label on, because what happens then is that stuff gets to Emporia and it sits there until somebody sees it or decides to scratch it out and put Parsons. And that's exactly what happened. So Caroline said, well, gee, I guess I have your old labels. So I'll have to go update those. Yeah, please do. Please do.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything else from staff before we move on to round robin?
I
Okay.
didn't get to go yet.
Oh, sorry, April. Where are you? There you are.
She's just gonna
Well,
forget
everybody's
about
on
me.
notes. That's the problem.
I know.
Go
I'll
for
go
it.
quick anyway, so we have some time. New directors meeting, like Tammy said, is February 13th at 10 on Zoom. Ignore that it says in Iola, because I didn't change that yesterday. The HR training is that same evening on Zoom. So here is
So it's the 13th,
registration.
not the 14th.
Yeah. Yes, the 13th. Mine says 13th. Oh, I have it there. Yeah, 13th, same day. Thank you. I must just be excited about Valentine's Day. Not, but that's okay. And then I also put on here about, there's a KLA buy sell free Facebook group. So you can go join that and swap things around. And then the PCI webinars, I updated the February webinars with the links to the registration. So they have some good ones this month. I know there's a good one on picture books that's actually being run by one of my classmates. And there was another one that I can't remember what it was about that looked good. So you might check that page out and see what you think. And that's all I got.
I'm going to check that page out. Okay. So for the round robin, I'm gonna switch over to Iola right now. Has anybody had a mural contest? No? Okay. We talked about that last night at our board meeting. And so we had a teen group come and give us a little bit of public shaming because we don't have the no smoking signs up when we got our new doors. I didn't replace the required by law signage. So my board has asked me to investigate becoming a smoke-free, tobacco-free campus, and basically treating the library and the library grounds as a public park, because some of the other public parks in the city are also completely smoke-free. So if you have gone through that, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. But yeah, so we got lots of pictures of cigarette butts in flower pots and other things at the front entrance of the library. So yeah, it was kind of humbling. So we'll be working on that here in Iola.
And Sharon,
Yeah.
I was going to say, we were going to do a mural contest, but it didn't work out. And so we actually just worked with the middle school, and they came and their art classes, their best students came and did a mural inside the library.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, we want ours like way up high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would be a scaffolding, but we thought we should do it with the schools because then they would be covered by the school's event insurance. So anyway, okay. Who wants to go next? Round robin. Come on, Julie, Samantha, Andrea, you're my regulars. Any questions? You're still muted, Julie.
Okay, I'm back. All right. I've been working on summer reading stuff. We're starting out with the whole year of doing 1,000 hours outdoors. And we're starting out with the Great American Backyard Bird Count, which is February 16th through the 19th. I have a 5th grade class who's coming in, and they're going to do pine cone bird feeders. I'm giving them journals to keep track of their birds in it. And there is an app that you can put on your phone from Cornell University that allows you to put in information about birds, and it identifies the birds, and then it automatically, when you get your bird done, your count done that day, it uploads directly to Cornell and goes into the bird count. So that's one of the things that I'm doing. Another thing that I've already done is I contacted PSU, and I've got them coming for an outdoor thing. We did last summer, we did a thing with snakes and amphibians. This one's on animals of some kind. And they're coming the first Monday in June to be here for that. And so that's the kind of stuff that I'm working on. I'm buying books having to do with the 1,000 hours outdoors, and books on astronomy, and stuff to get kids away from social media and phones. So
sounds good.
And then the end of this month, I'm going to work on starting the planting stuff in the greenhouse, but that's still a ways away.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer?
I am actually kind of excited to, back in December for the executive board, we had a strategic planning part of that meeting, and I've been trying to get something going with my own board with that, and they kind of just looked at me to do everything. And I was really frustrated. So coming home from that, I talked to my board again, and I'm lucky enough to have someone from the K-State Extension Office on my board. She said, I'm pretty sure there's somebody that does that. So I think on the 19th, we are going to have our own strategic planning for our board and the library. So I'm really excited about that.
Hey, when you get the details of that, if that's a program that other people could take advantage of as a retreat facilitator from the extension, share that with us. I think that would be a valuable resource to get out there.
Okay.
Awesome. Good luck.
And I kind of have questions about that too. Does that need to be an open meeting? Or
yeah.
okay.
Because you have a majority of your board. Ours was an open meeting, but I did ask staff to give the board, I guess, the courtesy of being able to have a frank discussion. It's not covered by it's not executive session, so but yeah.
Okay, so the minutes need to be taken. It's like a regular meeting.
Yeah, and I think when we did our minutes, we just said, the retreat had a discussion led by, and that was it. So it was like one line.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. And I'll let everybody know how it goes and more information later.
Okay, thank you. Samantha?
So we are going to host our first Design a Bookmark contest for National Library Week in April. We're going to do this before the kids get out for summer, and then share the bookmarks during summer reading and other events. My question is, has anybody else had a Design a Bookmark contest? I think Eureka did. And then where did they print them? That's where I'm needing some help.
Sam, we just printed things in-house. We had 4 different age categories, and then we actually had our county commissioners judge the bookmarks. And then the winning bookmark for each category was the one we reproduced in-house and just ran them through the copier.
And did they have to, I assume that it was just a paper form, Or do they have to
Yes.
upload
And
a? Okay,
I can send that to you.
perfect. Thanks.
Okay. Uh-huh.
That's all.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Tam-
jump in and talk about the Smoky Bear Reading Challenge, which I put the link in the chat for those of you who need it. It's a really interesting challenge on the 80th anniversary of Smoky Bear, and it goes along with our summer reading theme this year. So if you haven't checked it out, go check out that link. There's lists of books to read, and some logs there, some posters that you can print out. So it's cool, and it's all about environmental stuff. So yeah, if you have questions, let me know.
Anybody else have any questions or requests for the group? Sam?
Oh, sorry.
Oh. So for the last couple years, we have produced brochures that have been published in the Parsons Sun, and we take them to all of our events, we take them to schools. And it has not failed for the last couple of years that I've received one in our book drop with writing all over it, telling us to do a better job. We need to pick more appropriate activities. Last year, I got one from Wichita Public with writing all over it and suggestions. So I'm just curious about besides, word of mouth and publishing things in the newspaper and our website and our Facebook, and where am I missing that you guys are hitting as far as outlets to get the information out there? Last year, our summer reading numbers were sky high. They were amazing numbers. So I feel like what we hit was good, but obviously to somebody else, it was not. So
Is that handwriting all the same? Is this just one person that's doing
I
this
think
year after
so.
year? Then, do you really want this?
Maybe. I don't know.
No.
The handwriting the first year looked like an older person versus the handwriting for the year before.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I went to a meeting and it talked about, advertising on KOAM, and that's expensive, but I thought maybe that would be something to do.
Get an article in the paper. That was my suggestion. I think maybe
and we do
Connie
that
and Amy
too.
have suggestions too.
And if you invite the press out, you could get some free press.
Which we do that
all the time. They were at the library all the time. So you just have to hit the right person and let them know, this is why I want you to come, because I want you to see the great stuff that's happening. But if you're hitting your own goals, you get to make your own goals. You're for your community, because you're the one that's in your community and you're the one interacting and you're the one planning these programs. You know the capacity of your staff, you know your budget, your partners, what your board support is like. Whoever's providing that feedback to you doesn't have the same lens. And so that's why it might be really important to share what Sharon talked about at the beginning of this message, in that what your community has done through your annual report, and share that broadly as well, and see if you can get that in the newspaper as well. Because Parsons is not Wichita and you are trying to do this, it's not going to happen. So yeah, I don't worry about what the outside noise is. Look at your own goals.
Yep. Here.
Yep. Sam, was there a name on this, or was it anonymous?
It was anonymous.
Okay. I'm going to take a different tact. If they can't put their name, there are people who just like to agitate no matter what. And what we have found is you're not going to please everybody. And no matter what you do, to some extent, no matter what we do to publicize, people have to make the effort to come and find out. And so I wouldn't worry about it. You know, if overwhelmingly everybody's happy, you know, you just have people who just like to agitate. So, and if they cannot sign their name or come to you with concrete suggestions, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yep.
I know that in the back of my head. I think I just need the other professionals to tell me. So
We're
thank
our
you.
own worst, yeah. And we feel guilty about everything. So, you know,
We tend to listen to the negative and take it as truth and ignore the positive when we should do just the opposite. So.
yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Connie, you still have your hand? Oh, you have something additional?
No, just
Okay.
in slow gear today.
No worries. Thank you. Jennifer?
I just want to add to what Connie said, because a while back we had an event and somebody from near Tulsa came and brought a crock pot full of meatballs and very friendly. And then the next day on our Google for the library, whatever, she gave us a very poor review. The library. She'd never been here before. She just came for that event. And it really bothered me. And so at the next board meeting, I told my board about it. And one of my board members said, you know what, if they can't tell you that, if they can't come from behind, they didn't give a reason, anything else, then it's not worth your worry.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, I think you're both doing a fantastic job. Keep it up.
Yeah, exactly. Was it, Jennifer, was that for your paranormal haunted?
Yeah.
group? Yeah.
Yeah. And she's never been back. So
she's not even from the state.
exactly.
So
I think it's because nobody ate her meatballs.
Is that, well, you know, sketch food.
Right.
But I do understand. We've all gone through that. We're very conscientious and try to, you know, please everybody, and you can't always do that. So yeah, know what your goals are. Make sure that you're doing the best that you can for your community, and you know, talk about those goals. I mean, that's part of the good thing about having a strategic plan is, you know, you're proving to the community you're thoughtful and deliberate and intentional. And then I use, you know, I have for Iola, our strategic plan dashboard is on our website. So then anybody that's curious can come and see what our goals are and if we're reaching them or not. So anyway, hi, Luna. All right, well, it's after 10, so I want to be respectful of everybody's time. We will record, this is recorded, so we'll send it out for anybody that couldn't make it today. April, I think, is getting ready to start her next round of library visits. I have interview this week for a new business manager. So hopefully we'll be, there might be some changes happening to how we invoice and things like that, but we'll baby steps. So thank you, everybody, and have a great day, and go to all these meetings that we have planned. CE is in high gear. So, all right. Thank you.